Babatunde Irukera, the Director General at the Federal Consumer and Competition Protection Commission, FCCPC. So let's take this further. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the UK, says he's not attending the World Economic Forum in Davos in January next year, and no cabinet minister will be attending because they've got a lot of work to do at home on Brexit. Juliana Lawenka is my colleague at our London studios. Juliana, good morning. Welcome to the program here for today.
Good morning, Bosun.
Yeah, so the door is closed to the UK for Davos, officially speaking. Anyone else who is interested can go. The Prime Minister says he's not going to the World Economic Forum, third week of January. President Trump says he'll be there. Now, the Prime Minister is giving us some sound bites, but of course we heard from a few others. What's the latest? Who is saying what else as far as the Brexit is concerned and the politics around it?
Well, there are several sound bites. Gosh, I wouldn't know where to start. One of the ones that are dominating headlines here in the UK this morning is "You haven't seen nothing yet," which refers to what you were saying about Davos, because, of course, he had his first cabinet meeting yesterday, and he was saying, you know, you thought we've been working hard over the past 6 weeks. You haven't seen nothing yet. It's going to get much more worse. But look, yesterday, MPs met, they came face to face with each other for the first time since the general election in the House of Commons. As to be expected, Prime Minister Boris Johnson was heralded with sustained cheers from his backbenchers. And you can literally see, if you look at the House of Commons, you can see just how full the Conservative benches are. It's literally jam-packed. And of course, on the opposite side, Labour has 59 less seats. So it's pretty palpable. One of the things Boris Johnson did say in the Commons yesterday is that he will be getting Brexit done. And by doing this on Friday, what he wants to put through the Commons is this withdrawal agreement bill, that piece of legislation that will take the UK out of the EU. What critics have been moaning about is clause 33, which he wants to remove, which is the transition period. And that really has called some people, has made some people to call the Prime Minister reckless, because, of course, we know sterling was on an 8-month high just before the election, and it slid yesterday at the fall of a no-deal Brexit, because, of course, if we can't get a deal with the EU before the end of December, then it's a hard Brexit or a no-deal Brexit, which is what people, the markets, the currency markets had thought Boris Johnson was averting. So not a good day for currencies yesterday.
Yes, it wasn't. So how's it pacing out this morning at the currencies market? Yes, the sterling stumbled yesterday, but is it regaining any of this today? Do you have any idea where it is at the moment? I'm sure it's cash, so you have an idea where your money is.
Well, I did have a look. It's yesterday at the close of trading, it was about 1% down on the dollar. It's not that high at the moment, but still about 1% down on the euro and about 0.66% down on the dollar, which is such a shame because, of course, it was riding so high. But Boris Johnson has spoken. And if we don't get that deal, then, we're going into 2020 on a loss.
I guess we were warned by Deutsche Bank, you remember, on Monday, and says, look, don't chase the pound sterling. That was the advice that Deutsche Bank issued to its clients on Monday. You remember we talked about that. It says, don't chase the pound sterling on the elections. Don't chase the pound sterling. It could be a cul-de-sac. But talk about bank overdrafts. There's a new rule, is it, coming out today. How will that affect you as a bank customer in the United Kingdom, Juliana?
Well, if we're talking personally, Bosun, it won't affect me because I don't use an overdraft, fortunately. But there are millions of people that would have woken up across the UK to a zero bank balance. And that's because the money watchdog, the Financial Conduct Authority, have a new law that will come into place today, where banks can no longer show you an available balance if that balance is your overdraft. 14 million people across the UK almost survive on their overdraft. And what the overdraft is basically credit. So if you've got £20, let's say, in your account, and you remove that £20, the bank could potentially offer you £100. But rather than showing that you've only got £20, you may see that you've got £120. And that's now going to be scrapped. The FCA say that it confuses customers, that it tricks customers into borrowing or thinking that they've got more money than they have. So you still will be able to, if you're in the UK, be able to use your overdraft, but it will no longer be seen as an available balance. Also, as well, there are some people who go into unarranged overdrafts. So this is if you've got a direct debit or you've taken out more money, but you haven't pre-arranged that credit facility with your bank. Typically, if that had happened before, you could be charged, up to £60 or £70 per transaction. That's going to be scrapped now. There's going to be just a fixed fee. So basically, it will be less difficult for banks to manipulate, as that's what the FCA has said, not my words, to manipulate customers into borrowing money. So if you've woken up and you don't think you've got any money in your account, you probably have. It's just not yours. It's the bank's.
Yes. What do we do with the banks? Is there any way we can do without them anyway? We're dealing with a number of issues even here at home in Nigeria when it comes to the banks and some of this, I call subterfuge way of trying to make sure that they keep you in the loop. It looks a bit of a window dressing. That's what you're trying to explain there. And the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, the UK says, no, sorry, you can't do that. You need to let people know where they stand, whether they're swimming naked or they have their pajamas, whatever, on. So that's a different story. Okay, so where are we? What are we putting in the whirlpool, the washing machines? Is this still working? What's on the front page? I saw that on the front page of the Daily Mirror. What's going on with your washing machine at home, Juliana?
I wanted to get you the newspapers today, but I couldn't. But I'll explain for you, and our viewers can Google. But look, the Whirlpool story is a big story. That's on the cover of most of the tabloid, as we call them, the red top newspapers like The Sun and the Daily Mirror, because Whirlpool are really big washing machine and white goods manufacturer, and they've had to recall over 500,000 washing machines because over the past couple of months, about 80 of them have set ablaze. There haven't been any fatalities yet, but they're very worried that a lot of these washing machines can, cause devastation, especially if some people put the washing machine on and go to bed, or put the washing machine on and close the kitchen or in the living room. So they've recalled that. Also, as well, in the UK papers today, it's mainly politics that are driving the policy. Labour, the Brexit shadow minister, Sir Keir Starmer, he's given an interview to The Guardian, which is quite a left-wing newspaper here, basically throwing his towel in for the Labour leadership contest. We're going to be seeing that over the next couple of weeks, actually, because, of course, Jeremy Corbyn is stepping down, so a lot of the newspapers are covering that. And apparently, when he was at the House of Commons yesterday, he was confronted by an angry mob of Labour MPs who are not happy that their friends are not sitting with them in the Commons.
Yes, it's a different folds for different folks as far as the December 12 elections was concerned, and Brexit, a lot of a bitter taste being left in a number of folks' mouth. But of course, those who have the sweets also have a lot of work to do, according to the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. The cabinet ministers, he told them, if you think you're working hard, now you have a lot of hard work to do. I'm not saying Happy New Year to any one of them yet. It's got a lot of hard work. Thank you. And you're doing a lot of hard work out there out of London for us. Thank you as well. So your holiday next week will be well deserved. I'll miss you then for a few days. But let's leave that till next week, shall we? Have a great day, Juliana. See you again tomorrow, Thursday. Let's continue the conversation from here, from our London studios. The stock market lost about 0.13% yesterday. We're still holding very tight to 26,000. The yields across our markets are a little bit tepid at the moment. There's so much liquidity. Investors are scrambling for any kind of return they can get on the market. You'll be amazingly surprised. We started Wednesday 1.16% in the green territory at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Then we finished in the red by 0.13%. All that we gained in the morning until about 11:30 local time evaporated before 2:30. In the afternoon. That's the state of the market as we have it. Folks are scrambling for whatever gains they can get from equities to fixed income just before the end of the year. The show is not over yet. We'll talk about managed funds market when we return. Stick around, everyone.